Hello, fellow carnivores and people on a wellness journey. Jackie Umber here, and I am checking in for the Rockin' TJ Ranch, where we are beginning the Steak and Butter Gal MeatUp, MEATUP, and I just am going to be bringing you some highlights. If you've watched any of my videos before, which I invite you to do at lowertoxiclife.com, I started the carnivore diet a little over 8 months ago in an effort to heal my painful body. Now, to look at me, you wouldn't necessarily know anything was wrong, but I was having digestive issues, just a lot of different things that were going on that I originally linked to perimenopause or gluten sensitivity, a lot of things. But after eliminating so many different things, I stumbled upon the carnivore diet, and I thought, when you're in enough pain, you're willing to try anything. And I am on a healing journey. I couldn't be happier. I'm still a little more ketovore than carnivore because of oxalate issues and some different things like that. But I'm going to be bringing you some interviews from the people here, and they can share a little bit about their journey as you begin to figure out your own path, things that you may want to try, test, tweak. You know me, I always talk about being bio-individual and figuring out what's going to work for you. So stay tuned as we bring you some exciting stories and data from the doctor's panel and a lot of different things like that. Some people like to think carnivore is a fad or it's unhealthy, but I will tell you, if you're willing to do the research and do like I did, put aside everything you've ever believed about health and healing and science and diet and nutrition, animal protein, fat, healthy fats, vegetables, carbohydrates, macronutrients, just all of it. Be willing to put aside everything you've ever learned before, all of your beliefs, and open your mind up to explore, to study, and to figure out what serves you best. I was more than happy to jump on a plane, leave the sweltering Scottsdale, Arizona heat for the cool pines of Montana in July, and spend as much time outside in the beauty of the nature there. Dr. Robert Kiltz shared some of his family issues when he kicked off the evening for us.
Los Angeles in the 40s, and I'm the third of 4 children. Now, my sister Mary Ann was the second. She had type 1 diabetes since age 4. And my parents and my older brother, who I think had a little bit of schizoaffective disorder, he's an awesome guy. But what I learned is there was so much turmoil in the family. And my brother and I...
Now, the sound's going to be intermixed as I tried to catch some live, and he gave other people the opportunity to speak, but sometimes the quality didn't come out well. We mixed, mingled, shared a feast with people from all over the US, Canada, and Australia, to name a few. We were treated to an amazing buffet of pasture-raised, grass-fed beef, organ meats, which I said no to. LMNT sponsored our drinks, and we had the opportunity to experience raw milk, cheese, and butter, and yum, it was delicious. I snagged Dr. Kiltz for some specific questions one-on-one on hormone replacement therapy. Drop a comment if you want to know the context. Saturday kicked off with blue skies and beautiful weather. My friend Julie joined me from Seattle. It was an intimate group, less than 100 people, which made for a great opportunity to make new friends, hear inspiring stories, and get some great ideas. I quickly met Dr. Lisa Weideman, the eye doctor carnivore, who runs the Carb Sober Cruises. She has a Cancun trip in January, and I plan to be there. Bella and her husband Max welcomed us in. He humored us about managing to marry the Steak and Butter Gal and become Steak and Butter Guy. Bella let us know what the day would consist of. We submitted questions, and 4 of my questions were answered. So grateful. Watch my video on the doctor's panel too.
So the agenda is light suggestion, okay? So if the doctor Q&A goes over time, no problem.
Dry Lakes Ranch Beef educated us on regenerative farming, why, how, and sourcing in your local area. I want to encourage you to do this, and I'll leave a couple links in the description for local ranchers and raw dairy. And they spoke of the younger generation coming up and exploring farming.
And to imagine, I actually had the pleasure to actually coach this man. So this was, I mean, it just the way it just kind of turned around. The SBG, somebody asked me how this was the whole thing came together, right? The stories was like, how I met Bella. and we got all this together. By the way, I'm Raymond. I'm sorry. I'm 53 years old. Had all the slew of stuff with Carnivore, diverticulitis being my main one. About to get surgery for. Well, they told me I needed to remove my colon. That you know, that doesn't sound good at 45, right? But I had a lot of the other problems that you guys have heard, many pre-diabetes, the whole thing. But I just wanted to go back to how SBG was born, okay? Bella, I love that story with Bella. I remembered where she said, hey, I'm just by myself, you know?
Kerry, who's HomesteadHow on YouTube, and Alan from the Healing Humanity documentary shared some powerful information with us.
It was from Dante Ferrigno from Ferrigno Freedom. Anyone a fan of Dante? Yep. Dante's sharing a story I believe saved my life. It's the reason I'm here today. I don't think I would have started this if I just saw one of the good doctors, because frankly I didn't trust the doctors. But I trusted Dante, and he had the same sicknesses that I had. He had depression, IBS, all of those things. And you could just see the truth in his words. And that's what ultimately convinced me to do carnivore after I did a bunch of research and watched Dr. Baker and Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Lisa and all these good doctors. I just want to say one more thing. I'm going to go off track here. Just 1 second. I just want to say, I want to live in a world where all doctors are like these good doctors that were just sitting here and they're actually treating the root cause. And where healing is the incentive, not profits. So, as I said, I found carnivore, and I've been carnivore for 2 years now. I found incredible healing quickly on carnivore. I'm down 100 pounds since my heaviest. I stopped snoring almost immediately on carnivore. My IBS, my stomach issues went away. I remember a couple of weeks into carnivore, I'm like, I can't feel my stomach for the first time in my life. I feel absolutely incredible. And then my hope started to come back. The depression started to lift, and it was just miraculous. And I was so happy that I was able to find that, but I was also kind of upset realizing that this is really the default behavior for humans. It should be. We should all be full of joy and gratitude. We should all be happy. We shouldn't constantly be sick. And that kind of upset me that the majority of humanity is going to go through their entire lives never really living or feeling what it's like to be alive, like many of us carnivores do here. And that was when I decided we needed to do this documentary, Healing Humanity. And the purpose of the documentary was to share hope and share real stories of people that have found healing. So I'm over 2 years on carnivore now, all of those things healed, and the most amazing thing for me was overcoming the depression. But after 1 year on carnivore, my congestive heart failure, I went into the doctor. First time I went to the doctor, I had no reason to go in there. There was nothing wrong with me. I felt better than I have my whole life. Did all sorts of tests, and my congestive heart failure, which they told me was chronic and would only get worse, completely reversed. And my lifelong irregular heartbeat also reversed on carnivore. And I feel incredible. So the last thing I'll say is I was on so much medication, and I am on 0 medications now. So Adam's going to share his story. I just want to say one thing too. I want to thank, is Bella in here right now?
Right here.
I got to do a huge thank you to Bella. A lot of you, some of you might be familiar with my wife, Jen, right?
Yep.
Jen is absolutely thriving on carnivore. She's over 1 year carnivore now. Jen was vegetarian, so I've always loved meat. It was a lot easier for me to go carnivore, but Bella was a huge inspiration for Jen. Not only Bella being brave and sharing her story online and saying like, hey, this is possible to eat only plants and then go eat only meat and actually thrive. But Jen also joined SBG when she first started carnivore, and it was an absolute game changer for her. I think one of the hardest things with this carnivore is wrapping your brain around it and starting carnivore. But then also doing it, because you're the odd one out and you really need that community. And SBG, Bella's group, is really helping a lot of people. It's changing people's lives. So huge shout out to Bella.
One that's probably really significant is Mimi Morgan down in South Carolina. She had Parkinson's diagnosed, and she had a major stroke, and she basically went all in on the carnivore diet, and she's actually reversed her Parkinson's and her stroke symptoms are really, really non-existent basically. But during the process of us filming her, she's one of the ones that totally, pardon my French, kicked her ass. She's almost what, 60? She's 60, second, yeah, almost 70.
71.
And man, she really put us through the ringer. She trains going up the bridge in Charleston, South Carolina. And man, I'm telling you, we could hardly keep up with her. And that's just a testament to what eating a proper human diet does. And that's just one of the small examples, basically, of what we filmed across the globe.
Yeah, she was bedridden with Parkinson's, a full-blown stroke, and a blood infection that nearly killed her. And she could barely walk. And she's like, just 10 more steps, just 10 more steps. Really inspiring story. So we're looking forward to sharing that with everyone. One of the stories that inspired me, anyone a fan of Bill Knott here? Yeah. I got to shout out Bill real quick. Bill's story was incredible. Bill saw one of my YouTube videos and he left me a comment, and it was basically like an essay, and he was pouring his heart out, saying, if I don't do something, I'm going to die. He said, Kerry, I've been trapped in my house for 5 years now, too big to go outdoors, in the beauty of Alaska, 700 pounds, stuck inside for nearly 5 years. When I heard Bill tell his story, I didn't really hear his story more, I felt his story. I could feel sort of the pain and the struggle and the depression that he went through. He was the first person that we went to film. This was before Adam came on board, and it was probably some of the worst parenting on my part. My daughter Emma and I flew all the way to Alaska. We raised, this entire project is crowdfunded. It's all grassroots, so we did a crazy 24-hour live stream to raise donations in order to go film Bill, and then we went on to film Bill. But we were literally flying to Alaska and then driving there. I was thinking, taking my young daughter to this guy that we just met on the internet, and thank goodness, as Providence would have it, all worked out. Bill is absolutely incredible. I mean, anything could have happened too. We could have filmed him, and 2 weeks into Carnivore, maybe he quit, or maybe something else came up. But we filmed Bill on day one of Carnivore, where he was just starting his journey at 700 pounds. And we followed his journey over the course of a year. He's the first person we filmed in the documentary, and then we filmed him 1 year later. And after 1 year on Carnivore, well, before I tell you that, the crazy thing was 3 weeks on Carnivore. He called me up, tears of joy, saying, Kerry, this is incredible. First of all, my knee pain and my lower back pain that I've had for decades is completely gone. And he's like, I'm like, I'm not a doctor, why are you asking me these questions? But he's like, how is that possible? I said, inflammation, Bill. You got rid of all that inflammation and it just went away. And the other thing that he was quite emotional about was his just horrible depression that he suffered from for decades. It's just washing away. He's like, the sky looks bluer, the sun is brighter, like I feel so much better now, and I haven't felt this way in years. And that was just a couple weeks in Carnivore. He's been sharing his story on his channel, Bill Knott on YouTube, if you guys want to check him out. But we went back to film him 1 year later, and Bill is down 330 pounds. And really one of the most, I would say, profound moments of my life, not just filming this documentary, was following Bill around with a camera in one of the most beautiful places on the entire planet, Hatcher's Pass, Alaska. Bill hadn't been there in 30 years, hadn't left his house in 5 years. He had his hands up in the air like this, and just tears pouring down. He was just thanking God for being out in the beauty of Alaska and being free again. It's been so much fun watching his journey. He's out on his four-wheeler, he's going fishing, and he's got his life back. And one of the things he said to me when we first filmed him was, what is my purpose in life if I'm just stuck in my house and stuck in a bed and sitting here for 5 years? And after going through this journey, Bill believes his purpose in life is to be an example to others to find healing like he has. If Bill Knott can do it at 700 pounds in Alaska, stuck in his house where meat is incredibly expensive, and find healing, anybody can do it. And Bill has been inspiring so many people, sharing his story on YouTube and in our documentary.
What I like to talk about, I like to be real in life, because I think life's hard. Life's really, really freaking hard. And if you disagree, good for you. I think you're delusional. I really think life's tough. Did you know that being born, you were born just to die?
32 months carnivore. Let's see, I feel congestive heart failure, depression, anxiety. I was on 6 liters of oxygen, healed that. I had reactive airway disease, and I healed that. I had sleep apnea, healed that. Got off all the medication. And I was 715 pounds, lost 335 pounds, and it just kind of made my life. I'm blessed to be a part of the SBG team for about almost 2 years now, and I host the open chat and the Iron Sharpens Iron. So.
Glad you made this happen. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't for him. So this was.
That may be one of the problems, but I don't measure this stuff. I guess what the question is, what's the problem? If you're having a problem, usually it's related to inflammation. And whether you have a high ESR, CRP, or whatever the measure is of your inflammation, it's just telling you, yeah.
The doctor's panel was amazing, and I created a standalone video linked here on the specific topics. I didn't film as much as I wanted to because I was paying attention and taking notes. So we finished up the conference. The only thing left is the VIP dinner event, which is great because it's a very small group of us, and we'll have an opportunity to ask questions and really network, more one-to-one, more intimate setting. So some of my biggest takeaways, surrounded by a group of roughly 100 people who have shared not only my mindset, but most specifically, some of the symptoms that I was struggling with that created my desire to try carnivore for myself and see if it would work. There's nothing better than being surrounded by a group of people where you don't have to explain yourself or feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sound crazy when I tell people these random symptoms that I'm having. Some of mine, I've shared this before on my channel, I was having major joint pain, inflammation. Was it pre-arthritis? Was it arthritis? My fingers, my joints, my hips, my knees were sore, the bottoms of my feet. Was it plantar fasciitis? What exactly was going on with me? Some almost like irritable bowel syndrome, but nothing that absolutely fit. And I had fallen into the trap of thinking, oh, this is perimenopause. This is what women go through once they hit 45 on up. But there was a part of me, a deep, deep part of me that really believed, I don't think that I have to buy into this ideology that that's just what happens to women as we age. Because the thing that was interesting for me, and in having conversation with my mom's friends didn't sit around talking about menopause and the symptoms. Yes, I'd hear about hot flashes every once in a while, but not nearly like it is so front and center today. Now, I kept thinking to myself, is that social media that's creating that? And there's just an opportunity for more women to be sharing their stories. But let's face it, especially as women, we've sat around the coffee club, gone to lunch, book clubs, whatever, playgrounds with kids, and talked about the issues that we're going through. So in my mind, this is something that's progressively gotten worse over time. And I just started thinking it's diet and environment and lifestyle related. So how am I going to rectify that? Well, I was doing all the things I was supposed to be doing, or so I thought, with the toxic superfoods, all the almonds, almond flour, almond butter, chia seeds, so much of the stuff that I've posted here on the channel, that ultimately I realized that the anti-nutrients that are inherently inserted by God, by nature, whatever you want to call it, into plants and nuts and seeds and all of that, to protect them and create their ability to have longevity and to procreate. That's what a nut is. That's what a seed is. When planted in the ground, the idea is that it grows into a tree or a bush or whatever it is, some kind of plant that produces more of the same. Certain animals are designed to eat grass, to eat plants, to process them for stomachs, a lot of the things that go on. That made sense to me. The human body isn't designed that way. And it's kind of funny, if somebody, we're taught forever, right? Eat plenty of plant-based foods and seeds, and you need fiber, all of that. And then the minute you're diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, Crohn's disease, you're immediately taken off all of those foods. So in my logical brain, I kept thinking, why does it make sense to put everybody on that? But then when it starts creating disease, we take everybody off of it. We put everybody on that not knowing, are they going to fall prey to having this affect them on down the road? So as I started doing the research and started just doing an elimination diet and then discovered carnivore, I thought, What do I have to lose? I can commit to anything for 30 days, 90 days, and we'll see what happens. And my eye floaters disappeared. I started noticing my upper body strength started returning. Some of the sharp electrical sensations and the joint inflammation was slowly going away. Am I completely healed with all of my issues? Not yet, but I'm working on it. So thanks for riding along with me to the very first Steak and Butter Gal meetup here in beautiful Montana. You can see behind me where we are, and I will be sharing more about what I've learned, what I took away from the doctors, like Dr. Shawn Baker, and some of the other doctors who were here who shared not only their theories, but their absolute experience living the carnivore lifestyle, having their patients on the carnivore diet and food protocol, and actually measuring them, testing them, and tracking those results so that we can say those studies have been done, and they've been done widely by a wide variety of doctors who look great, feel great, have longevity, and are fully functional. Now let me share some shots from the fabulous VIP dinner. Great barbecuing skills.
That was just the first clip. I'm gonna raise this hot coal.
Okay. I'm not trying to micromanage. I want tips.
The wooden cutting boards were part of our swag, and we took them home along with a bag of goodies. Beef tallow masks, salt, element tea packets, freeze-dried treats, and more.
Kind of gives holy cow a new meaning.
You like bone marrow?
No. Thank you. What is it? Oh yeah, I've had those. I grew up in Colorado.
Oh yeah, me too.
Check out those tomahawk steaks.
Bon appetit! Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm going back for the second annual Steak and Butter Gang meetup in Montana next July 4th weekend. I hope you'll join me. I'm Jackie Almer. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here at lowertoxiclife.com. Follow my playlist on the carnivore diet, and I will see you on the next video. Oh, and grab my guide at lowertoxiclife.com for more tips, recipes, and ideas for living your best life. Lower toxic, environmentally safe and sound, and free of so many toxins that surround us. And imagine how peaceful it is in an environment like this.